Alright guys, this is your tutorial on how to make a website using Photoshop. Let's make a new document. I'm using Photoshop CC. It's very similar to CS6. Everything should look kind of the same. My width is 1280, my height is 1080, my resolution is 72, RGB color 8-bit white background. Hello, new document. Double clicking on my background. I want to unlock this. This is your website. I want you to make this the way that you want to make it. Okay, it doesn't need to be exactly like this. I like some separation between the content and the navigation. I'm going to make it using the rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to right click, go to fill. I'm going to make sure that's set to black. I'm going to hit OK. So I just made a little black line there. I'm going to make a simple kind of logo. So do Pedrick there. Let's make it a bit larger. And I'd really like you to spend a little more time than I am on this, guys. Try to be proud of it. I just want lowercase for the photography. Just something a little different. Okay. So I'm going to highlight both of them by shift clicking. I'm going to do Control T, and then I can make the logo as a whole larger as I need. And let's talk about the links here. I'm going to do a landscape link. It's typing in white. You guys ask this all the time. You're like, Pedrick, I'm typing. I don't know why nothing is happening. What's going on? Because your text is on white and you have a white background. So change that color and then you'll start to see stuff. Cool. So landscape. Maybe I'll put these down here. I've seen a lot of more modern websites involving like fine art photographers that clump all the navigation links to one side with a larger logo on the side. So I'm just going to rip them off for this. My second one's going to be portraits, and yours could be, you know, any two things, whatever you like to photograph. And the last one's going to be about me. That's going to be about you, but this is about me. All right, there's my navigation. Pretty simple, took about a minute. So I'm going to grab your slice tool, which is buried under the crop tool, and you're going to slice up your logo. You're going to slice up your two links for your galleries, and you're going to slice up your about. And you're going to go into the slice select tool, and you're going to label like this. Your home page is called your index page. So you're going to call it index.html. The alt tag is going to be index, as I've discussed many times. This is going to be landscape.html, and alt tag is going to be landscape. This is going to be portraits.html, and this is going to be portraits. This is going to be about.html, and this is going to be about. All right. This is done. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it Pedrick Photography Website Video. There it is. I'm going to name one index.psd. I'm going to come back and go Save As again and name one landscape.psd. Come back again and name it portraits. File, Save As. Make sure it's a PSD file. Remember, it's a work in progress file. Portraits.psd, and then Save As about.psd. And there those are. I can go to View, and I can go to Extras and get rid of those. I can click out of this. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to open. I'm going to open up my index page, my home page. Let's do that first. Okay. Let's get the extras out of there, and the extras are the slicing. So I'm just going to open up a picture for this part of my site. So I took have this picture of the Brooklyn Bridge. So I'm going to put that on the cover. Control T, I'm zooming out. Control minus, control minus, control minus. Holding down Shift, I'm dragging that smaller, smaller, smaller. Just want to put it somewhere in there. Alright. Just making it a bit bigger. Control T, holding down Shift. Holding down Shift, as you know, constrains the proportions. It means they're not going anywhere. There's my cover page. Very simple. I'm going to go File, Save. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save it for web, because this page is done. Now, save for web and the HTML that you did in the beginning, this is all going to come together now, but I don't want you to do this until you're done designing the page. So this is my home page. This is my welcome, welcoming you to my site, whatever. And then you can navigate, of course, to these items up here. But in Photoshop CS6, you're going to go File and Save for Web. Now, in my version, I need to go to File, Export, and then go to Save for Web Legacy, meaning it's just an old item. Here's the Save for Web dialog. You're not going to touch any of this. You're just going to hit Save. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. You're going to go to that folder that you made. And make sure your format is to HTML and images. Okay? And you want all slices. This is going to be called index.html. I'm going to click Save. Okay, it's going to save that as an HTML file. And then I'm going to close it. I don't need this anymore right now. I'm going to close out this Brooklyn Bridge picture in a minute. Let's go back in there. Let's grab the landscape.psd folder. This is where, file, I'm sorry. This is where I'm going to design my gallery. You're going to have 8 pictures in here. You're going to have 8 pictures in the other one. I'm just going to do 6. I'm not going to do the complete thing just for the sake of time and for the sake of you watching the video. If I do a couple, you'll understand. I'm going to make just a square. I'm grabbing the rectangular marquee tool. I'm making a new layer over here and putting it all the way on the top. I'm going to fill that layer with 50% gray. So I'm going Fill and then 50% gray and hitting OK. And now I'm going to duplicate that layer by hitting Control J. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to hit Control J again. Now I have 3. You're going to do 4. Whatever, I'll do 4. And then I'm going to highlight all of the layers. So with the top one selected, I'm shift-clicking the bottom one. Now these are all selected, and if I hit Control J now, it duplicated all 4 of them, and I can just drag down those 4. Now I want to move all of these as a whole, so I'm going to shift-click the bottom one again, or click on the top one and shift-click the bottom one, and now I can move them. I can also hit Control T, and it will actually resize all of them at once, which is nice. So there's my thumbnails for the work I'm producing. And as I mentioned in class, I like to label. This is going to be bottom 4, bottom 3. I'm just double clicking on the text to do this, bottom 2 and bottom 1. And this is going to be top 4. And you don't need to label it just like this. Any way that if you want to name it top left and then top left 2 or whatever it takes for you to know what layer is what. So I know that this layer right here, top 3, is the top level and it's the 3rd square. So if I hide this, that one goes away. It's just a good reference point, so when I start dragging images in here, I understand where I want to put them. So let's go and bring a picture in. So I'm going to go File, Open. I saved some pictures to my desktop that I took at sunrise, over spring break, down the Jersey Shore. So let's crack one open, and just going to drag it over. And these are very large files. They're not resized. They're like high-res JPEGs right out of the camera. I'm going to put this over top 1, which is going to be the very top left one. You see that's the only one that's not showing right now. I'm going to right-click on the image and go Create Clipping Mask, and there it goes inside. Now when I hit Control T, that's the size of the picture. It's huge. I'm going to hold Shift, going to drag it down a size. Now this is just a thumbnail, that's why I made it square. You can make it circle, a star, whatever, I don't care. But we're gonna have a bigger version of this. Okay. So I'm just gonna do one more picture, just so you get the idea. So that was 1 of 29. This is 2 of 29. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm dragging this over. I'm putting it above top 2, which is gonna be the one right next to it. Right-clicking, create clipping mask. Drag this out, hit Control T, and then make this extremely large picture smaller. Okay. Now, you're going to do this for all of them. You're going to bring in, more pictures and fill all this up. And when you're done with that, you're going to do some slicing again. So, I'm going to grab my slice tool. I'm going to slice this one and this one. I would slice all 8 of them. I'm going to go slice select. I'm going to name this the same thing that this is. Photoshop has default. By default, Landscape 17. I'm going to name this, you can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to name this Sunrise 1 because it's a sunrise picture and it's in the first slot .html. So you just need to write that down or remember that. Now this is important. Your target, you need to write _blank. That's going to make it open a new tab, and that's extremely important. And then your alt tag could be Sunrise 1 or whatever you want it to be. Go into the second one. I'm going to do sunrise2.html. My target _blank, and then my alt tag is going to be sunrise2. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to do this for all of those, okay? And then when I'm done, I'm going to go File. You're going to go Save for Web. I'm going to go to Export Save for Web. Sorry about that. File, Export, Save for Web. We want to save it. HTML and images. This is landscape.html. It's getting saved in there. We're saving it. And it's going to ask you if you want to replace these, and just hit replace. Okay, so that's all saved up. Now, let's see how this navigation works, and then we'll see what problems we have and see how we can fix it. So I'm going to go into that folder. So Pedrick photography, video, whatever. I'm click on index. It's going to open up Chrome. And here's my home page, so that worked well. And if I click on landscape, well, that worked well. There they are. And these are clickable. So if I click on one, okay, file not found. It's looking for users Justin Pedrick, desktop, Pedrick photography, website, video, sunrise1.html. And the reason it's not there, and I would, if we were in class right now, I'd say, why isn't it there, guys? And one of you would hopefully raise your hand and say, because you didn't make it yet, Pedrick. And it's true, because I didn't make it yet. So we need to make it. So let's go back into Photoshop. Gonna make a new document. And watch how easy this is. 1280 by 1080, 72 ppi, same thing. It should open eventually. Create. Oh, it's over here. Just made another one. Alright, let's get rid of the sunrise. So I'm going to go File, Open. And my hard drives are thinking. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 external hard drives on this computer, and sometimes they just think, so it slows down the computer for a little while. But I'm going to grab 1 out of 29, because that was the first one. That was Sunrise 1, as it was named in the slices. So I'm going to bring this over here. Control minus, Control minus, Control minus, Control T for transform. Holding down Shift, making this much smaller. This is my image. And File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. Save. Okay, and I'm calling this sunrise.html. Getting out of here. And watch what happens. Let's refresh this page. It's still here. Landscape right there. Now when I click on this though, oh, it's still not found. moved or deleted. Oh, geez. Okay, both of them are not found. So, let's go back in here. Let's see. Oh, it's because I named it sunrise.html. I didn't name it sunrise1, okay? I want to say that this is, just a purposeful mistake, so you guys can be guided, but I actually just slipped up on that one. So look what it's looking for, and this should be hopefully a good lesson. When I hover over this, if you look at the bottom of the screen or the bottom of the web browser, it says file users, J. Pedrick, desktop, Justin Pedrick, photography website, blah, 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 sunrise1.html. There is no such thing as sunrise1.html right now in this folder, right? There's only sunrise.html. So watch this. I'm going to rename this sunrise1, what it's actually supposed to be called. Close it out. Now click on this, and it shows up. So you need to make sure that you name the file what's exactly in the slices. And this opens up as a new tab, so I can click this and get out of it, and now I'm back to the landscape page. Now if I go and click on this, it's not there, okay? And you should know why. So let's close this out. So file new, 1280 by 1080 again. We're going to create that. We're going to go file open, and we're going to open up number 2, that second sunrise picture. Control minus, control minus, control minus, control minus, and holding down shift, making this smaller, hitting OK, boom. File, export, save for web. Not going to make this mistake again. Clicking save. I'm going to name this sunrise2.html because that's what I put in the slices. Hitting OK. Hiding Photoshop. Back to my folder. Don't even need to go to my folder. Refreshing this page. Click on that. There's the larger version. Click on that. There's the larger version. I can go back to my home page by clicking this. There's my home page. Portraits I would then make the same way. It's not found yet because portraits.html has not been made. So the real thing that you should be looking for is when you make slices inside of any of these PSD documents, you need to make sure that you are naming HTML files that match what you did in the slices. So in my index.psd, let's open that back up again. Okay, there it is. Now in my slices, if I go to view and I'll just click on the slice tool, there they are. They go in here. Remember, this link is clickable, and I named it index.html. So when I click on this logo in Google Chrome, it's going to bring me to something called index.html, which is what I saved this when I saved for web. So inside my folder for my website, there is index.html, and there it is. When you click on this link, it's looking for that file. When I click on landscape, it's looking for landscape.html, and there it is right there. So if I double click this, it'll open landscape.html. If I click this, it'll open landscape.html. So I guess the trickiest part about this is naming the slices correctly. So I hope this helps. I hope if you watch this, you can see how this all goes down. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.